All right, we're live. Excellent. Uh, Alex, are you going to start the recording or we'll just get cranking from there?
No recording, just streaming. It's
Okay,
more
great.
clear.
Yeah, and it saves us having that voice. You are being recorded.
Sure. Yeah.
All
I
right,
get that a
excellent.
lot at work. I hear that all the time.
Yeah, it was new, huh? Like about a month ago, they just tweaked that in, and all of a sudden, it's like, yeah. If you weren't paranoid in the first place, you definitely are after that message.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, we better begin. So we're live streaming. Welcome, ASG.
Cool.
So welcome everyone who's tuning in, watching the live stream, watching the recording. Courtney, awesome having you here. And in the stage, if you're watching this live stream, then always everyone feel free to, there's a link on cloutforum.org where you can click the button, it'll bring you into this Zoom room and you can take part in the chat. So if you want to come and join us, feel free. So with that being said, I'd love to welcome a very special guest to the show today, Mr. ASG. So Andrew, how you doing?
Good. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so stoked. Mark and I go way back, way back. People don't realize that. You know, we've got a funny story or two, and I'm extra stoked that Kourtney Kardashian decided to join us. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, man.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's I got to say, of all like, it's like being a kid in a candy store here on BitClout, right? Just so many different characters, personalities, and the rest. But you are literally like one of the first people that I really connected with on BitClout. You know, I came on, and I mean, what was your coin price about? It was probably like, was it $300 or something back then?
Oh no, it was probably like $50, I think. Yeah, it was it was really low. I mean, I started at zero just like everyone else, you know?
Yeah. That absolutely. And I remember, how did that play out? Because it was, you shared a Joe Rogan podcast link, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is what happened. So I was new on BitClout. I think we both were. It was the first 2 or 3 days I had been on, and I posted about a Joe Rogan podcast episode, and I don't something spicy was happening on it. I don't even really remember. And you commented on it and you said, "Hey man, do you have the link and the timestamp by any chance?" So I grabbed it,
right.
and I sent it in the comments to you. And as a thank you, you bought like $50 of my coin, which at the time, honestly, I don't know if you know this, at the time, that was the biggest purchase or investment I had gotten by far. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, I mean, I was brand new on the account, on the platform. I didn't know really anyone. I had a few $10-$20 investments, so my coin price was probably around $50 or so. And yeah, and you jumped in at $50, and then I think at my all-time high, I was at like a $2,500 coin price. So you definitely cashed out there, made a pretty penny. It's such a funny, it's so funny because it's like good karma, you know?
Well, this is the thing, right? This is where when I saw everyone about holding and the rest, because I remember there was that weird feeling about selling someone's coin, but it's like, well, you need fluidity in a market. Like things need to move, it needs to breathe, right? Like that's natural. And so anyone who I've invested in since, you can thank ASG for launching me on his coin, because absolutely, man, I was sitting there thinking, it couldn't have been 300 or something, because that went up a lot. That $50 made a lot. And I've lost a lot on the platform on people that have just dropped away, but it was wins like that helped boost it up. I think I sent you a message saying, hey man, I'm just going to take a little off, and then sent it out to all the new creators and all the rest. And I think that just really showed me how BitClout can be so magic, right there in that synchronicity.
Yeah, me too as well. No, yeah, I remember that. There's a ton of stories like that. I mean, the platform is really magic, and it's such a small town vibe. Everyone knows everybody. Everyone has stories with everybody. I think what we need to normalize is selling coins, right? And buying coins. Obviously not rugging, but yeah, as much as I appreciated the message, if you tell me you're going to sell my coin, it was not at all necessary, right?
Yeah.
And that just goes back into the economy. It helps you invest in smaller creators. You win and they win, right? Their coin price
Absolutely.
increases, your investment increases, you take more profits, and
Yeah.
that's what makes this thing work.
It makes me think of I used to work with a pretty alternative crew trying to work out alternative, economic principles and things. And one of the ideas was like a 0-point economy. This idea that rather than the goal being how much can you stock into your bank and hold of money, the goal being who can stay closest to zero in the sense of receiving and giving, so there's a healthy cycle happening. And that's what it kind of feels like here is it's like, yeah, as you gain, you want to share. And that really fuels a good economy. Otherwise, it all just kind of silos, right? And you get all these big players and then everyone sits at the bottom going, well, if no one's going to sell, we need lots of new money always coming in. And that's not really a great economic principle.
Yeah. No, I think that's an interesting idea. I haven't thought about that zero baseline. Yeah, cool stuff.
It's where BitClout came in, this idea of clout and reputation, because obviously we see things like, Uber and all these other kind of Airbnb using reputation, right? And in a way, clout's just universalizing that in a way that, the reputation is what's valuable, not the dollars that you hold as such, Yeah. But anyway, enough about that and the mechanics. I want to talk about you. Because you have been like this fascinating character that's been such a big part, which is, man, I'm a big proponent for BitsTODAY.
I love it.
So obviously,
I love it.
And it's not just because of that story, but you've created something amazing. Like BitsTODAY has become such a foundation of BitClout for me, and it helps, because life becomes busy. It helps kind of be able to tap in and feel like I'm still part of the village. So let's first start, actually, before we jump into BitsTODAY and that part of it. Sure. How did you actually get onto BitClout? Like, and how long ago was that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I got onto BitClout end of March, very end of March. And how did I get on? Oh yeah, so I was just on Twitter. So my background, my real life day job, I do marketing, product marketing for technology companies, startups, right? So on Twitter, I follow a lot of thought leaders in the technology space, like Naval Ravikant, Balaji, all of these people that are now on BitClout. And I saw someone post just setting up my BitClout account, and then saw someone else post just setting up my BitClout account, and I kept seeing it, and then it just piqued my interest. My curiosity got the best of me, so I went to click on to see what BitClout was, and it had that password up. I don't know, most people. Yeah. This was a long time ago, at least in BitClout years, right? It's really 4 months ago, but
it's like dog years, man. It's like 20 years have gone by.
It's so wild. Yeah, so I saw that, and the fact, like, my FOMO was like at an all-time high, that people were setting up this social media account, but it won't let me in because of this password.
It was genius.
Yeah, genius. I mean, from a psychology standpoint and a marketing standpoint, it's like ding, 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 And then I kept seeing it. A couple days went by, and I kept seeing it, and I kept clicking on it. And then finally, the password is lifted, and it allowed me to create my account. And I had no idea what it was. So I created an account. I'm actually kind of a noob when it comes to crypto. I own some Bitcoin and some Ethereum and a few others, but I just got into it over the last couple of years. I'm not one of those people that bought Bitcoin back in 2012 and super into all the ins and outs of it, but I'm familiar with it, and social media from a marketing standpoint, and seeing those interject, I was like, okay, I need to figure out what this thing is. So I logged on, and then I basically have never logged off since. It's like,
Absolutely.
forget sleep, forget being healthy, you know. It's been
Yeah, I
wild
mean,
life.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is an interesting point, right? Because there's a lot of people that come on the platform, that kind of come on and get really disappointed. It's like, and that they're not getting the engagement necessarily, and it feels like, oh, there's all these others that have got, they're just kind of grandfathered in a way, and it's like, and I think it's a big misconception, in that those who are on the platform, it's like you've been giving like, and without expectation. That's what I've loved about watching your ride. It's like I've always enjoyed you being on that platform, and it was people like you that made it easier for me to do the same. It was inspiring. It was to be able to just keep doing the same and just keep giving, really connected to something bigger in that sense. And so I think it is important that people hear these stories, that, it's not just a case of, you knew people or you had money, but it was like you came in and you grinded and you did it because you loved it, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I think that is something that people don't realize. I have a fancy blue check mark by my name, and I'm fortunate to have a fairly high coin price. But outside of BitClout, I'm just a guy and just logged on, didn't know anybody, didn't know Diamond Hands, didn't know the developers, not an influencer on Instagram, didn't have any connections, didn't get in early on the platform, anything like that. I just like everyone else, I came in totally blind and started poking around, and my mindset was, I just want to figure this out, because the way that I saw it was, I see Instagram, and people making millions of dollars on Instagram, and everybody has Instagram, right? My mom could barely figure out how to send a text message, but she uses Instagram. And I thought, okay, well, what if, like, knowing where Instagram is and how people could build $1 million businesses on Instagram, imagine knowing that information, but then taking a time machine back to 3 weeks after Instagram was created and then starting to build. I feel like that's kind of the opportunity that we have here. So I kind of want to figure it out. I want to hack it, So that was the mindset that I had, and that I appreciate what you said about giving without expectation, because I think that is the key. I think that when I initially joined that day, I transferred over $50 worth of Bitcoin, I think. So I started with like $50, and bought a bit of my own coin, didn't know anyone. I didn't even tell any of my friends on the platform, or about the platform or anything. I was just completely on my own and started poking around, posting, interacting with people like you and others, and trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no, that's sorry, man. I just seen Sandstorms come in and saying ASG for president. So it's
Oh my god.
So you're not just my
Sandstorm.
favorites, man. Yeah, absolutely. No, okay, so cool.
Oh, there was one more thing I was gonna say. Yeah, so with that $50, I've bought more BitClout over the time I've been here, but at that initial time, that served me well. I think it's giving without expectation is the key. I've invested in a lot of creators. I don't think I've invested in a single one that has commented or DM'd me saying buy my coin as my first interaction with them. And I think that I'm not alone. I've talked to Reed, I've talked to Jake, I've talked to Arts, I've talked to a lot of people about that. And it's you have to, there's like 5,000 daily active users right now, and people don't realize the opportunity they have in front of them. It's very hard to be seen in the noise of 500 million people. It's a lot less hard to be seen in the noise of 5,000 people, and every day it's going to get a little bit harder. So I think just be genuine and don't expect things in return. And I think that'll do you well.
Absolutely, man. They're wise words, and I think you know, you really do see that out there. Because I'm the same. It's anyone says, "I'll buy my coin," it's like, and then you know this thing of I'll hold forever. It's like, well, I don't know if that's good for anyone. You know, it's like, and then you know, buy my coin and you hold forever, and it's like that's okay if it's going to be a trophy. Like if we're going to turn my investment into an NFT and put it up on a wall, okay. But I don't think that's an investment, really. You know, so it's this. I think it is something we're going to see, right? Is people just bumping around. Just this is something that I've had the blessing of being a part of, you know, a couple of, you know, fast start kind of environments and feeling what's involved in that. And I think, like you say, people don't realize the opportunity that's in front of them, because to be this early is such a special, rare thing. But it also means that the price that you pay for being this early, right, is you're part of the Wild West. Like it's literally the Wild West, and we need to build it together. And so like, I like what you were saying about that. It's like, you know, with that 5,000, it really is like a small town of 5,000, you know, and everyone knows everyone. But if you want to actually get in there and be part of it, you need to come and hang out in the town square, right? You need to start getting involved. You need to start engaging. And I know for sure that, you know, when you get those messages, it's like, but when I post something and you get a comment, you know, just a genuine comment, it can be one line. But you know how you can kind of tell in the comment that they took time to pay attention to your thing, think about it, and then respond to it. You know, you can feel it's okay. That's a unique comment. Whenever I see that, I always think, oh, here's an alive, aware, awake person within BitClout, not a bot, not a something. I click on their profile, and then I'll look through their posts and see what kind of stuff they get up to. That's why I always say to people, just post, even if no one is liking, sharing. They can go there and check it all out later when you do catch one, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's by far the most important. I mean, there's a lot there to unpack, but that's by far the most important thing is posting. I think the other day, Jake Udell posted something about quantity, not quality, where he has like this hot take where it's like quantity is actually more important. Because you're just getting stuff out, right? Which is an interesting way to phrase it, but it's sort of true. I mean, you don't want to post spam. You want to post genuine content, like you said. But if you look back to this being a very small town, people are afraid to post too much or be annoying or they want a super tight curated feed or you know, one post a day. There's 5,000 of us. If every single one of us only posted 5,000 or one post a day, there would be nothing to see and no one would log back in because we'd be hitting refresh and there'd be nothing. There'd be one new post, right?
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And especially, it's especially true because the number one complaint new creators have is discoverability, right? Not being able to be seen. If you're not posting, it's the only way for people to find you and see your content is by going to your profile, and discovering your profile is near impossible. So, yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good point. And as you say that, it makes me think that was one of the changes I needed to make. And because I deleted my Facebook profile, I wanted to get away. I felt a little bit, that's why I came in here just blank. I didn't want anyone to know where I came from, what my history was. It's just, let's just start fresh, right? And I would be, you know, not paranoid, but, you know, I'd want to post quality, right? So not just waste people's time. And I felt exactly like you said. It's like, I didn't want to be an annoyance because I never really used Twitter. You know, I've never been on Twitter. I've got an account, but I never used it, you know, and Instagram is, you know, more images and things I'd use every now and then.
Sure.
But then I suddenly realized, you know, it's like, hang on a second, stop taking it so serious. It's a bit like if we're in town, you know, if you and I walk past each other, we'd stop in the hall. We'd have a bit of banter. How you doing, man? What's going on? Yeah, awesome. Sweet. Have a nice day. And off I'd go again. Right. And so in a way it started being, okay, so I started engaging, stop taking it so serious and just flicking things out. And then that's where it started becoming more fun. And that's what that's become my my little anchor for everything from here on in the revolution we're going through at the moment in the world is fun. We got to have fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think you obviously don't want to swing the pendulum too far. You want to be as active as possible. You don't want to post crap. I mean, one aspect of BitClout that is different than Twitter and Instagram and everything else is it's on the blockchain, and the blockchain doesn't forget, you know? So don't post anything you're gonna regret, you know? But being active. Oh, there was something that I wanted to bring up. Oh, I wanted to talk about the commenting and the power of commenting. You talked about how in a town hall or this very small town hall, you see, you know, throughout the noise, just one genuine comment on your post, and how it really stands out to you. And just a couple minutes ago, I said that everyone knows everyone, and like I'm like literally saying that, you know, there's people with $10, $50, $100 coin prices that I'm familiar with. I know their profile picture, I know their username because they've commented on my stuff. And everyone, Craig, Jake, everyone feels that same way. It's really, there's not that many people. And I would, looking back on my entire journey, so to speak, on BitClout, I would say that the catalyst that of everything for me was the result of one comment that I made on one post. And it changed everything. So it was on Arts. It was on Arts's post, and just about everyone knows who Arts is. And him and I are good friends now. We talk, you know, text almost every day. But I didn't know him at all. And I wrote a comment about a potato on his post, and he ended up DMing me. And then that's how our initial conversation started, which just kind of snowballed everything. So from a single comment. So yeah, people.
Okay, yeah. I got to ask, man. Hang on, a comment about a potato?
About a potato. Like, well, okay, so it's
we need some context here.
Yeah. So it's the Cloutato, a long time ago. So yeah, people that were here like 120 days ago will get this. If you were not here, this just sounds like absolute crazy talk. But Art, he posted a post where he created the hot clout Tato. And what it was is he took one BitClout, and the objective was to send that one BitClout to someone else. That person takes 0.1 BitClout out and sends the 0.99 BitClout to someone else. And they take one person out and sends the 0.98 to someone else. And we're passing the Cloutato until everyone gets effectively $1 from the BitClout all the way. And then you go to his post, and then you comment what number you were, who you received it from, and who you sent it to. So he had started that, and it got stuck on someone's account who wasn't active, and I was following it because I wanted to be part of the Cloutato. Because I just thought, like, this is like, looking back like 5-10 years from now, this is going to be like a historic thing that almost nobody knows happened. It's like one of those stories, you know? So I was following it, and it got stuck in someone's account. Someone hadn't logged in a couple of days, and he posted something random. And I commented on it. I said, RIP Cloutato. That's all I said, and put like a potato emoji. And then he DM'd me, and he was like, what happened to the Cloutato? And I told him, I'm like, hey, yeah, I said, oh, it's stuck on this person, and I tagged him in the comment where it got stuck. And then I realized the secret genius of arts, because it was very easy to identify who had the Clout Tato, because everyone put the person who they sent it to and who they received it from and what number they were in the comments, so you could follow along. And then I realized if you look at that structurally, that's a blockchain. That's a literal blockchain of how a blockchain works. And stupid potato, and essentially teaching BitClout how a blockchain works. Yeah,
that's genius.
Wild. Yeah,
gamifying education, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That's unreal. And like you say, that's kind of one of the bonuses. It's not just all about coin prices, right? Like when BitClout goes up, when it gets into that mass adoption, we're going to see things through the roof, right? Mm-hmm. But until then, there's so many other hidden gems that are priceless. That may not be worth money even necessarily, but they're stories. And I'm a big fan, which is again why I love your work. But I'm a big fan of stories, right? And I'm a big fan of storytelling, and I think it's one of the missing things in our culture sometimes. And my goal in all of this is that when I'm an old man in a rocking chair and my young man's running around in his bloody virtual reality, crazy wild world, whatever he's in, Ready Player One style, I'm going to be rocking in my chair, smoking a pipe, telling stories about when I'm, bought some coin off ASG and there was this clout potato flying around, and that is going to be some of the best treasure I think we can get in these early days.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. It's all about the stories and the situations you could get yourself into. I guess good and bad, but I'm talking mostly good. The accessibility of people, right? I mean, that's just one story. But I have countless stories like that, and everyone does, where all these wild interactions. I mean, we're buying trading cards off Pamela Anderson right now.
How unreal was that?
Yeah, it's just the most bizarre situation that I think we're all going to be talking about for a really long time. Yeah,
absolutely. That's what I've said. A few of my friends are sitting there going, they always give me shit, especially when they saw, getting the old tattoo on the wrist. I rocked up to my mate's 40th birthday and he was like, is that the BitClout logo? I said, hey, it's not a logo. It's a symbol. And it's like, right. And they think, they're going, you're crazy, man. And I said, look, even if all the money I put in here, because I took about $2,500 of Ethereum, that I got off Ethereum mining and earnings, I just flicked it over. I was like, you know what? I'm all in. I'm getting a bit bored with Ethereum, Bitcoin, and I'm a bit ADHD. I'm pretty all in on this. So I flicked it over. And they said, man, what if it all just goes to shit? And I was like, well, do you know what? It's already been worth it. And that was over a month ago. And it just becomes more worth it every day, that if everything falls away, the connections that we've made, the fact that I get to sit here and speak to you, right? Different parts of the world, where else would we have ever met? And then we get to sit here and just have a laugh with beautiful people, and we're meeting new people all the time. And it's like, you know what? It's worth it just for that. And I think that's why BitClout has a chance of really making it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had that same realization, and it sounds like super corny movie line, but I think all in all, I probably have spent $1,000 in Bitcoin purchasing BitClout at this point. Because honestly, I kind of went all in on myself. I'm very clout poor. I always post creator. I'm a creator coin maxi. I'm very clout poor on the platform, because all of my clout is tied up in ASG and BitsTODAY. And so so I've invested probably $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and cash all in. And if this all kind of goes to shit and I lose it all, that would suck. But it's one of those things where it's but what if it goes right? What is the best possible outcome, right? And the clout cryptocurrency is the first currency that I'm aware of. I'm fairly new, where
Yeah.
I have a direct influence on its price, and you do, and everyone does, right? The more
Mm-hmm.
the more we post, the better the platform is, the more people need to buy clout to
Mm-hmm.
join in, the higher the price of clout goes, right? So
Absolutely.
what you post on BitClout influences the coin price
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think it's really is providing that value. And that's where when people are worried about not getting, necessarily the attention they're seeing others get, etc. It's like, well, just keep contributing, keep building, because in the end, it's not about getting that right now. It's about getting this shit solid, right? And getting it out to sale. And then we can start debating about who should get what and all the rest. But let's just get this boat sailing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm
awesome, man. Now,
gonna
sorry.
post. I don't think I've posted that I'm live. I want to post, let some people know. Sorry, I'm just looking at my second screen.
Yeah.
I'm listening though.
Nah, absolutely, man. I got the big wide one as well, the same.
There.
Awesome, man. You do that. And I'm going to turn this. I've got one of these lights on. I'm getting that shiny. There we go. That's better. Awesome. And how you doing in there? We got Courtney, Sandstorm. Good to see you guys came to join us. And
Courtney is real. Yeah, I was talking to Sandstorm last night. She was trying to convince me that Kourtney Kardashian was a nacho average. And I'm like, okay, I still don't believe you. I guess she's here.
Apparently
though,
she's
right?
with us now. She's following you, SG. And by the way, big shout out to Nacho Average Call. That's one thing that I know. I think that's the first time I actually met you in person, but it was in the group and there was all people around. But Nacho Average, if anyone's watching this and you haven't felt like you've connected with people on the platform yet, you feel like you're not getting traction, etc., then I genuinely just cannot recommend enough jumping on the Nacho Average Call. So you can find that at nachoaveragecall.com. It's also at Nacho Average Call on BitClout, because it's an amazing place that's being held that was started by Clay Perry Music and is supported by the whole community. And it's a great place to go to meet everyone. Just like we're talking here in person, you get to go and actually meet a lot of other creators and they get to meet you. And that, I believe, is one of the best places to go when you get started if you're genuinely wanting to be part of the community and help build this.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, I would second that. I love Nacho Average. It's wild. It's wild. There's Nacho Average. There's a number of discords. There's a number of clubhouses where where you really connect with the community. I mean, I've met tons of people on Nacho Average, and just about every whale, so to speak, has been on there multiple times, and it's a kind of a magical place. I think that's where I first met Sandstorm and first invested in her coin. It's where I met Hunter Paulson, and I talk to him every single day now. It's tons of fun.
Absolutely. And I think Sandstorm is a fantastic example, because I'm exactly the same. I jumped in the call and then you start, Sandstorm threw some comments in about something, and the next thing you know is get to know what she's up to and everything else. And I'm like, oh my God, she's incredible. And I look at her, the BitClout profile, and all of a sudden it's, oh, wow. So it's that whole thing of just, it's just like fishing, just put yourself out there and be amongst the community. And straight away, I recognized that she's incredible. And she was a bit like you, ASG. I threw something in, now she's going up and doing great. And it's like, and how cool is that you get to invest in amazing people, you get to make money off their success, and they get to make money off that. Everyone makes money off that. It's such a win-win,
It's wild. I mean, I invested 20, I think like 20. I was on that call, the Nacho Average call. If I'm remembering right, she was gonna help you with something. She said free video in the chat. something about a
Yeah, he must be sharing a video around because it was education or something, right? Sandstorm. But yeah, okay, so it was in the same session.
yeah, and then she started talking about what she does. I clicked on her profile. I invested like $20, and then a week or a couple weeks later, we were doing a BitsTODAY Clubhouse, and she raised her hand. So we invited her to the stage to ask a question, and then she just like randomly said a bunch of nice things about everyone. So I invested like 20 more bucks in her account, and everyone else that was involved with the podcast or the clubhouse, I think jumped in as well. And now that 40 bucks or whatever is worth like 350, 400 bucks. Yeah, so good investment. Sandstorm is a good investment.
Nice. She absolutely is, man. And that's the thing. It's like, look out for those creators, people that are giving value, not necessarily people who are famous, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's it makes me think of when they talk about talent, and they talk about I did a lot of coaching work and different things like this, and they talk about, one of the challenges of someone that's born talented, that come in, with this kind of natural gift, like in basketball, for example, then they tend to kind of just get comfortable with that talent. And then as they get older, it kind of just fades out. Whereas those who have to hustle, they have to work hard, they have to really earn that talent, they tend to be the ones that go on to become, the big stars. And it kind of feels a bit like that on BitClout. It's like, yeah, there's some that are going to have massive followings, are going to come on, but they're also going to have a little bit of like, yeah, well, I've already got it over there. Like, what's this going on here kind of thing? Let's see. Whereas people that are coming in at $20, right? They got a $20 coin, but they see the potential and they've actually got talent and they're grinding and they're trying. Like, even if they're rough, unpolished diamonds, $5 can turn into a lot, if they stick at it.
Yeah. I almost never,
Beautiful.
I almost never invest in celebrities. I think I've only lost money on them. I think there's going to be a time when it's it makes sense to invest, and I don't think now is the time. That being said, I think that there's a number of personas that people identify as on BitClout. One of them being an investor, another one being a creator, another one being like a builder, like a project builder, and there's a lot of overlaps. I consider myself a creator, not an investor. That is not my primary focus on the account or on my account. But yeah, the reason that I think I don't focus on celebrities or new people that are being onboarded and influencers is I just take a step back and I look at in history of social media and similar situations like this, how it's played out. If you look at Twitter was kind of, Facebook, I guess, but if you look at Twitter, and then you look at Instagram, the people who built a following on Twitter are not the people who didn't move to Instagram, right? New people
Good point.
Were built on Instagram, and from Instagram, YouTube, a lot of the big people on YouTube were not influencers on Instagram, TikTok, and there's crossover now. A large influencer from Instagram will go to TikTok, but the people that are like the big dogs of TikTok started on TikTok, right? So
I'm hearing you.
If you play that out, and we go now to BitClout, now that is, I fully believe, and I think that I'm an example. I don't think I'm some big celebrity hotshot, but like I said, I'm just a guy. I think people like myself, Moz is another one. He has no, he has no significant following on any of his other platforms. He's not very active. Where this is the influencers, the accounts that are going to grow are going to be native to this platform. I mean, that's what I believe. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% right behind you, man. And I think absolutely it's you are a great example of how that plays out. And that's again, that's where I kind of went all in, because I thought that's what I want to support is let's create a fresh, because if we're going to create a fresh platform, let's get fresh influencers, fresh people that are coming in and see what comes from that. So let's now come to the one thing that you are very famous for, and you are a superstar for, and you are one of my personal heroes for, is BitsTODAY.
Yeah.
So, of course, wearing the shirt representing. I've got all of them, I think, almost.
You're in
But
Australia.
what's that?
You're in Australia, is that right? Or
Yeah, Western Australia.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That a T-shirt that we printed is in Australia being worn right now. It's crazy.
And the best part, man, for me is that it's one of the first times that I've been able to buy like branded up gear for promo gear for people that you guys have made wicked shirts. Like I genuinely wear these regularly, even though I'm like, oh, I should have kept them as collectors. Like, no. I love these shirts. So I'm wearing them out and about everywhere. So well done, man. Who actually designed?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get into I guess I'm assuming we want to be talking about BitsTODAY. And
how did you get into BitsTODAY? How did that begin? Tell us the story.
Just for that part, Taylor, Drip Cult on BitClout, is the person that designs everything that BitsTODAY does. He's one of my best friends for over 15 years. He's one of 2 people total that I've onboarded. And he just crushes it at design. So okay.
He's incredible.
So the story of how BitsTODAY started, and just to be like super crystal clear, I appreciate that you are such a fan and that people actually read it. But this isn't my thing by any means. There's 3 of us. It technically started because of me. And I'll get to that story in a second, but it's myself, it's NVO or Nick, and Taylor or Drip Cult. And Nick is the main writer. So he writes the majority of all the articles. I go in and I edit them and add some stupid jokes here and there. But I probably do, honestly, the least work out of the 3, but get all the glory. But yeah, so it's definitely not my thing. There's a team. But yeah.
And just on that ASG, NVO, big shout out, man. Your writing is awesome. Like it's so much fun to read, and it just makes it so much easier to digest all the information that's in there. So big shout out to NVO, and Drip Cult, man. Your design work. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so do we want to go through kind of the story of how?
Well, yeah, I mean, so how did that? Yeah, how did it happen, and how did you get into this position?
Yeah,
with BitsTODAY.
It was not my idea, and if we go back to like the Tato story, it was Art's idea, Andy Art's. In fact, he sort of held me hostage, and still has. That's why it's still going. No, I'm just kidding. But so what happened was, way back early April, Arts posted that he was moving apartments and he's not going to be able to log into BitClout for the day. And he said, whatever person or team creates some sort of news digest or gives me an update on everything that I missed today, like a daily news, I'll invest into their coin. And so I had been on the platform for like a week and a half. Again, been poking around, trying to figure out. I was starting to gain some traction, and I had seen that. And like just about everyone else, I felt guilty because I had spent way too much time on the platform already, right? I was exhausted, was losing sleep because I was on it. I was behind at work for my real job, and Arts had posted that, and I was just about to go on my lunch break, and I was frankly gonna log off and maybe even not not log back in because I felt like I'd wasted too much time and I needed to focus on work. And when I saw that post, a bunch of people were commenting saying like trying to get it started, or I'll do it, pick me, or I already am working on it, blah, blah, blah. And I commented on it and I said, wow, that's a really good idea. Like, that's it. That's all I said. Something to that effect. That's a really good idea. Not, I'm offering, I want to do it. Nothing like that. I just said, that's a good idea. And I sent the comment, and then I pulled it back up like 2 minutes later. And he replied to my comment saying, so are you offering ? And I was like, well, shit, because I'm not going to say no, right? So people know who Arts is, which is basically nobody, but he's a whale, and he's a VC in real life, and Social Capital, the firm that he's a partner in, invested in BitClout, the actual platform, and building it. So knowing that and him saying, so are you offering, I figure, hey, there's probably a bit of an opportunity here. I'm not going to just say no, I don't want to do this. So I said, okay, fine, sure, I'll do it, I'll give it a shot. And as soon as I sent that, he absolutely just aped into my account, and just about everyone on BitClout was following and commenting on it, so they saw it. So a bunch of other people followed, and so I was like, well, okay, I can't not do it now. You know? That's why, I mean, he held me hostage, right? Because since he invested in my before I created it, I was like, I guess I can't do it now. And then yeah, and then it was just madness from there. I then reached out to NVO first, and NVO is someone who I did not know at all prior to BitClout.
Okay.
We met for the first time in person in Miami, actually, for the Miami thing.
What a trip.
Yeah. But this is back to kind of the serendipity and the magic of BitClout. So NVO, if we rewind back a week or so, NVO, I had posted a tweet from Naval Ravikant as a post, like quoted him as a post for BitClout. And NVO, who I didn't know prior to this interaction at all, commented on it. And he commented it like correcting Naval's grammar. And I'm like, you can't just like correct Naval's grammar. So I was like, who is this? So I clicked on the account, and in his bio, he said that he's a writer. And then we had, you know, a few little comments back and forth. And I could tell just by the way that he was commenting and how he was interacting that he seemed pretty solid, you know. But it was just a few interactions. So when all this happened with Arts, and I'm like, shoot, I need to get an issue out. I DM'd NVO. That was really all the interactions we had. And I said, hey, do you want to be like the official editor/writer of whatever this thing's going to be? And he responded with, LOL, sure. And then, that was it, right? Then I reached out
How
to
the modern day business deals get done, huh?
Yep. And then someone else, I set up a Discord, and I had no idea how Discord even worked at the time. Because back then, I'm sure you remember, the site was so buggy and clunky where it would load, notifications wouldn't show up, and people were trying to like DM me, comment, trying to help, and I desperately needed help. So someone said, hey, you should create a Discord. Created a Discord and sent everyone over there. Someone named Nathan hopped in, offered to help. And he helped with the first 5 or 6 issues. And then he got into grad school. So he jumped off of BitClout because he didn't have any time for it. So he helped us there. But so I got NVO and he agreed to help. Then I reached out to Drip Cult and I said, hey, I need like a logo for this thing because I need to create the profile. Can you help me with a logo? I first came up with the name BitsTODAY, and I thought about it for maybe 10 seconds. It was like the first thing. And I went to, my mind was just like, next thing. I didn't know how to
keep this moving.
Yeah. So I come up with a stupid name, BitsTODAY. I go to DripCult and I said, hey, I need a logo because it won't let me like save this username until I put a profile picture. Can you like hook me up with something? And he said, yeah. He's like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, everyone's goal is to be on the global feed. So let's do like a globe. And then other than that, I don't know, just like copy like the Morning Brew logo. That's exactly what I said to him. And he created something similar to what the BitsTODAY logo is. Again, like 2 minutes, right? He was not spending a lot of time on it. It's the BitsTODAY globe, but he put the BitClout symbol. And I said, I don't want to use the BitClout symbol because every project uses the BitClout symbol, and it's hard to differentiate who's who. And at that time, reclouts were not even released yet. And I figured since this is going to recap everything that's that they missed, I was like, what if we do like the reclout logo instead of the BitClout logo? So he threw that up and he sent me like 3 variations. I picked the first one he sent over, loaded it in, and then just like didn't look back. And then we sent our first issue out, and people kind of liked it. And
that's unreal, man.
So we kept doing it. So wild.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. That's and I hope that's inspiring to people that are watching this, that it's like, you know, because it can seem like you see something like BitsTODAY, you see all this going around, you see what it's grown into and the rest, and it can be that feeling of, oh yeah, but you got to do this, you got to do that, it's like, no, you just got to say yes. Right? And then and grind and get creative and be willing to just keep moving, eh?
Yeah. I mean, that's even like my bio right now, the first thing that I put on it, it says shooting from the hip, because that's how all of this goes, right? That's how all of it has gone or sort of has to go at this point. For me specifically, you know, I realize that like my intuition with things like BitsTODAY and how it should be, how we should set it up, the format, just kind of seemed to work. So I didn't want to like overthink anything. And you definitely want to be deliberate, but you got to make sure that you can get the dog to hunt before you could want to spend too much time on it. Because you could spend lots of time developing the strategy to launch this project, and by the time you have everything all figured out, something on the platform changes that makes it even work anymore, right?
Such a good point. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and with the t-shirts, like that all happened where it was Taylor actually has a couple other side hustles where he shoots out where he sells shirts. He's a big Subaru fan, so he has a lot of like Subaru themed shirts, and
Gotcha.
So he's familiar with that side of things, selling them. And it was just a conversation jokingly like, hey, let's make a shirt. And we're like, oh, that shirt, like that design is actually pretty sick. Can we like sell it? And then in like an hour, Taylor spit up like a very, very bare bones, basic, big cartel, free e-commerce t-shirt selling website. And we're like, hey, okay. And then we put the design up and then we posted and people started buying them. And that's it. Like, that's it. Like no extra like, thought or strategy. You just gotta do it, you know?
That's it, right? Just do it. And I think that's one of the keys on this platform is, you know, not being too overly obsessed about getting it right the first time, and being ready to just say, hey, I screwed up a little bit, like I made a mistake, you know, or sometimes like, because we're going to try, everyone's going to experiment, and we need to be allowed to do that. Otherwise we won't discover the edges of this platform and be willing to try. And if it goes down, I think I always have a place for anyone who's willing to step up and go, hey man, maybe wasn't the best thing I did there. If you can own it, then you're always welcome in my house. It's just those people that try and then pass off the blame, etc. As long as you keep authentic on here, I think, you know, you're gonna be fine.
I think so.
Now, ASG, I'm noticing the time we are coming. Now, I've got our, speaking of projects and, you know, starting up and making, you know, getting grounded. Alex Roken, for everyone watching, is the one who has founded Clout Forum. You know, Alex has been such an incredible support for me, man. It's like, I've always wanted to, like, one of the reasons I loved when you shared that Joe Rogan link is because I want to get into podcasting, and I love his style where we can just be conversational, you know, just bring on interesting people. So he's one of my role models in that. And Alex, you have been such a gift. So we're going to bring Alex on because he's got a few questions for you. You got another 10 minutes? You good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait. And so Alex, are you ready to come on and ask a few questions, my man?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that it's just an awesome story of creating BitsTODAY, and I would like to proceed about talking about it. So my first question is, how do you find news for BitsTODAY? Is it like you are searching for some events or activities on BitClout, or it's just like information flows to you at this point?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think that it's evolved over time, and originally it started through our Discord. We created channels where we would have people come submit potential tips for us to cover, and we got a lot of stories that way. It's hard to get people to Discord if they're not familiar with Discord. So we didn't want that to be the only way. The majority of stuff either comes to us. We get tagged in things. People just you know, tag us in a comment for something or post something saying, "Hey, BitsTODAY, check this out." Or people will message us or DM us. That being said, we want all the help that we can. The DMing the BitsTODAY account on BitClout is not the best way, because I run the BitsTODAY account and I'm very unreliable with checking those messages, and it's accidental. So Discord or even Telegram, or commenting, tagging BitsTODAY, or tagging myself or NVO or DripCult is kind of the best way. Yeah, but a lot of it will just, I follow a lot of people. I try to follow as many people as I can. We're just all active on the platform, just stuff that we find interesting, and stuff that just kind of comes to us is what we cover. And there's always something, right? So it's not very often that there's absolutely nothing to cover. And we're sort of structured. We have about 10 or so different like themes that we fit content into, which makes it easy to, you know, like we always want to cover any updates on the platform that Diamond Hands and the team is shipping. We want to cover up and coming creators. We want to cover I don't know, the daily stats and that sort of thing. So it's easy to just like find stuff and fit them in the boxes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. So I would like to mention that anyone who is watching now or will watch it on YouTube later, just take into consideration that you can post your news for BitsTODAY by tagging or commenting some posts of ASG. So before I go to my next questions, I would like to give a word to Sandstorm. So she has some questions for you. Sandstorm, please. Oh, I think she is. She hopped
Her audio is not connected, Alex.
Oh,
I think she posted she had to get going.
I see.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So my next question is, it's quite a hot topic for us, for Cloudform, and for any other projects which is realized on BitClout now. What's the best way to balance your real life and working on BitClout or working for some projects on BitClout? And how many hours do you spend on BitClout or working for your projects on BitClout?
I don't think anyone's figured that out quite yet. I think that I spend quite a bit of time on BitClout. I don't know. I don't know exactly how much, but it is a hard balance. It's so I have a full-time day job. I have 2 kids. One is 3 and one is 1 year old. And then I have my account, and then we also have BitsTODAY. So there's like a lot, you know, and we it gets stacked pretty quick and pretty tiring. We just now, BitsTODAY as a team, we've talked about creating working hours and how many hours per day we want to block off to make sure that we have time for the things that are really important. I mean, BitsTODAY is important, right? And it's been, I think the future of it is going to be huge for our lives, you know, if it continues to with the momentum it has. But I can't pay the mortgage with BitClout quite yet, you know. So it's important to not let that hurt, you know, the time I spend with my kids and my real job and that sort of thing. And on top of that, we don't want to put out crappy stuff. It kind of takes a long time to write each issue and edit each issue. So it's hard. So I guess to answer your question, blocking out time is important, and you know, working on your BitClout project and working on your real life and kind of separating those, I think is huge. That being said, I'm still struggling with it. I'm still trying to get that figured
Me too.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Same
Me
problem.
three. Hey, Alex, we just saw Sandstorm posted the text question. Do you want me to read it out?
Sure.
So Sandstorm has written here, Andrew, ASG, we talk about BitClout getting there. It's true we're early, so very early. What do you think that looks like when we're there? And when, like, you know, when we don't know everyone, she's saying, like, when we're at that point, what does that look like for you when you dream about it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and the answer is I don't know what it looks like, but I do know what it doesn't look like, and it doesn't look like what BitClout looks like today. That is something that I feel strongly about. If you, from a platform perspective, one, how it's used, where we use it, all of that, mostly. And there's a couple pieces there. The first piece is, if you look at all of the back to like looking at the past of social media and all of them, almost without exception, every single social media platform is used today differently than its intended use was when it was created, right? If you look at Snapchat, if you look at Facebook, even Instagram, there's still pictures there, but the way that it's used is vastly different than they intended. And you really have to look and say, okay, this is four months into BitClout, and Facebook is what, 15 years old? Instagram's 10 years old. I don't know, but think about that, right? Where was Twitter and Instagram and Facebook 3 months into it and play that out 10 years. So I think it's not going to be how it's used today. I think that it is. I think people have some misconceptions about BitClout and what it actually is. The power of BitClout is behind the scenes. It's the engine that is running BitClout, the protocol, and BitClout.com is just how we view that. And I think in the future, there's going to be a number of different platforms and sites and communities all running on that same engine that have almost nothing to do with BitClout or how we see it here now. Something that has been interesting to me is the off-platform implications of a creator coin. If you look like at the stock market or a stock or Tesla or what have you, based on their numbers, their acquisitions, things that are happening in business, that's what influences the stock. I'm interested to see if in the future, if I go do something super good or super bad off platform in real life, if it has an influence on my coin, just like a stock does, right? I go get a killer job or I start a business and it goes up, right? Or, you know, someone catches the paparazzi catches someone smoking a cigarette and yelling super drunkly and their stock goes down, you know? I mean, I'm just like talking crazy right now, but just the concept of sort of like the stock market outside of the actual platform.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's been an hour conversation, so of course we're all a little bit tired. So now I'm going to ask you some entertaining questions, so your brain can relax a little bit. And the first one is going to your shorts. So you have a name Harlem on it.
Oh,
so does it mean something to you, or maybe are you from there?
no, it means nothing. I mean, Harlem is a city in New York. Yeah, in New York, and it's literally just a hoodie where it was cheap and I liked the font, so I bought it like years ago. And I like how it fits and it's comfy, so I just, you know, that's it. That's it. That's a great question.
I got you, man. So another question for you. If you have powers of God, what traits of your character would you remove and what traits would you want to acquire?
Wow. That's a hell of a question. I think that I think one trait I would want to remove is probably, I think I second guess myself a lot in my head, and it turns into I have a tendency of making big things or small things really big things, and it's both a blessing and a curse. And that coupled with second guessing myself, I think stunts me from moving forward as fast as I can. An example is I'll have an idea for BitsTODAY or a business idea or just any idea about anything, or in my real job, right? A marketing strategy, and I'll start thinking about it, and I'll say, well, hey, if we do this, then that opens the doors for this, this, and this. So we could also do that. But if we do that, it opens the doors for this, this, and this. So it allows us to do that and turns what's supposed to be like a one-day project into like, well, now this is going to take me 3 weeks, you know? So I would get rid of that, whatever that's called. And what I would acquire is the I think just being, I'm very introverted, and honestly am not big about having the attention be
Mhm.
on me. So I think becoming more extroverted and having more confidence in that sort of thing, and I don't know, public speaking and being more willing to do you know, networking, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
would be something that I would want to have. That being said, that is an area of BitClout where it has already helped me a ton with that, because all of those things are so natural, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, just in your defense, I've heard from one of top billionaire coach. He said that 80% of billionaires, they are introverts, so it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh, so short question for you: a dinner with Pamela Anderson or Diamond Hands?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
What would you choose: a dinner with Pamela Anderson or with Diamond Hands?
I would choose Diamond Hands because I am happily married. If you would
Yes.
ask 8 years ago, the answer would probably be different.
Cool, man. It seems you are in a very good shape. So what do you do?
Yeah, that's something that's always been important to me. So I just, it's one of my few hobbies. I would say something that I do consistently every day is just going to the gym. And I've gotten into running over the last year. With COVID, the gym was locked down for 6 months or whatever back in the beginning. And I was going a bit stir crazy, so I started running and started to enjoy that. That being said, it's I am not doing a very good job, so I need to get back on my diet and back on working out a bit harder. But I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's visible, you know. So we have funny comment here. Pamela is 50 though. Yeah, that's right. So before we will close it, we have a question from Sandstorm. What would you like to see from creators like myself do? Because you know I'm a big fan of you.
Yeah. I think that it depends. I've actually talked with Arts about this. Way back in the day, we had a long conversation about it. It depends on what your goal is, right? I mean, the short answer is you should I'm sorry, my son is fighting bedtime, so if you hear screaming in the background, that's what it is. But the short answer is the content that you want people to see is what you should show. Outside of that, it all depends on what your goal is. It's what is your goal with the platform and with the content? Is your goal to increase your coin price? Is your goal to make BitClout? Is your goal to gain followers? Is your goal to sell something? Is your goal just to have fun and make connections? I think that's the first place to go. And then the next place is, why is that your goal? And should it be your goal? And then from there is how do you achieve that goal, right? So if your goal is to increase your coin price, what you post will probably be different than if your goal is to get diamonds or to get more followers. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
that.
I think the question was also about what type of content do you like? What would you like to see more on the platform?
Oh, me personally, like what kind
Yeah.
of, okay. First is memes. There's never too many memes. And then I think that I like, man, that's such a good question. There's a lot that I like. I like authenticity more than anything. I personally, the way that my brain is wired, the things that are interesting to me are things like marketing, things thought-provoking statements or content or ideas. Ideas are huge for me. What the platform could become outside of BitClout, as well as BitClout related. That being said, I don't think that you should post things about marketing, for example, if that is not something that you're into or focused on, because it's something I want to see, right? So for me, I think being authentic, and it's the most like fortune cookie answer I could give, but I think there's something there, because if we go back, and I know we're getting late, maybe we could end with this, but if we go back to when I was talking about the very beginning and I first logged on to the platform, and I was just trying to figure it out, like I tried everything as far as what to post. You know, I posted funny jokes. I posted some hot takes. I even like tried to make a meme or two, you know, and I was like, okay, what are you doing? You know, I was like, talking to myself, I'm like, Andrew, you suck at a whole lot of things. One of the things that you are actually pretty decent at is marketing and marketing strategies and that sort of thing. So at that moment, I made a post that said, hey guys, if you're a follower of me, just so you know, in real life, I do product marketing for technology companies and I'm pretty decent at it. So I think moving forward, I'm going to focus my content on that. So if you're into that, cool. If you're not, cool, you know, but that's what I'm going to do. And once I did that, everything started falling into place. And when they released, I think NFTs or whatever, and then notifications, like did that time machine thing, I saw that post actually, and I thought about it for a long time where I'm like, this is really the moment where it's like, I decided to stop trying to figure out what's going to get the most likes. And the moment I decide to like start going all in on myself and what I like and what I'm good at, and it was pretty powerful just seeing that notification again.
Yeah. So the last one from me, are we going to the birthday party of BitClout next year?
Yeah. Is it already planned? Where is it?
No, it's just a mood, you know, a state of mind.
We should set it up. We'll do a BitsTODAY Clout Forum 1 year
Sure.
birthday.
Definitely.
100%.
Count me in. I'll fly across the world.
Okay, deal.
Awesome. All right.
Words.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Alex, thank you, my man. And yeah, please, everyone watching this, if you've been enjoying these interviews and everything, you know, go check out at Alex Rokin. That's AlexRokin. He is one of the most undervalued, incredible people that has been giving so selflessly to this platform. He helped bring Clout Forum to the space. And once we get your internet connection up, Alex, we're going to make sure your face gets on here a lot more too. And so, yeah, big shout out to you, Alex. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. ASG, thank you, man, for taking the time. As a family man myself, I know how challenging that can be at times, especially at bedtime. So I appreciate it beyond words.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so
Okay.
much, guys. This has been absolutely fantastic. Thanks for thinking of me and reaching out to do this. This has been awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see who's next on the list for these forums. So yeah, thanks so much.
Fantastic,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, see you guys.
That's a wrap.